Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Park Jin-young from Kriso. Today, I'd like to talk about global trends in e-navigation and Korea's strategy. Before we talk about the global trend of e-navigation, I'd like to talk about how e-navigation was born and how it has grown. E-navigation was first introduced in 2005 by the IMO. It was introduced as a new strategy. To implement the strategy, a plan, the so-called Strategy Implementation Plan, was introduced in 2004. And SIP provides the technical definition of e-navigation, and it was updated back in 2018. During the update, we discuss what solution we need to, we identify the solutions we need to provide through e-navigation, and the solutions have been integrated to our e-navigation service. Several R&D projects have been undertaken to implement e-navigations. Let me give you some examples. Axis project is one example. It was led by the UK. This project was about what service of e-navigation can be provided, and the concept of the service, whether the concept of the service will contribute to enhancing safety of the maritime industry and the maritime environment. And the project provided the verification tool to ensure the e-navigation service can help enhance maritime environment. And it is characterized by resilient PNT. Unlike other e-navigation projects, Axis project has a provided specific benefits in PNT. Another example is efficiency project. It was led by Danish Maritime Authority, and Thomas Christian, the previous speaker, was the project manager of this project, and MCP was born out of this project. And SA and services that we can introduce rapidly can be identified by this project and provided by this project. Another example is STM validation project. It was led by the Swedish Maritime Authority. The original name was Mona Lisa project. There was Mona Lisa 1 and Mona Lisa 2 projects. And the two projects introduced the definition of STM, and the STM has been verified at actual and real sea, and commercial businesses have a verified STM service to provide a service to actual shipping companies. Next example is a Korean one. It is called Smart Navigation Project. The difference between other e-navigation project and this project is that Smart Navigation Project didn't go through a verification period or phase, but it was supported by the central government because the government wanted to provide a service on its own. So from the arrival and departure of ship, the ship can be provided with information, and that's what Smart Navigation Project is all about. Through this growth period, IMO developed SIP, and the international community shared technical benefits and outcomes. Let me give you some examples of technical outcomes. To exchange information from shore to ship and from shore to offshore, standardized data model was needed. That is why we came up with S100. And this is a data modeling framework. By using S100, we can now exchange different types of navigational information. S411 and S4101 have been developed and under development. To avoid confusion in the process of information exchange, we came up with e-navigation standards. One example is MCP. MCP provides technical elements for making e-navigation service available. As I mentioned earlier, smart navigation is not just, it's more than a project. It's more than an offshore project. Smart navigation is trying to provide ships navigating Korean waters with information on safety. Let me tell you more about STM service. Many commercial businesses have participated and have joined this project, and they were involved in developing a standard data and standard data format. As a result, the participating companies are using NavLink to provide e-navigation service for ships that have their equipment on. So we've developed and implemented e-navigation strategies, and now we are quite certain that e-navigation service can be a great contributor to safety of ships. But now we are facing two new challenges. One is greenhouse gas reduction strategy suggested by the IMO. Under the strategy, the IMO is trying to reduce greenhouse gas emission by 50% by 2050. Another is the global movement and trend regarding autonomous shipping. Facing with these new challenges and goals, e-navigation projects need to develop new technologies accordingly. One example of that is green to greener shipping. Safer navigation is a new normal. We kind of take safety of ships for granted. So e-navigation is connected to ports. So e-navigation service contribute to safe navigation and green navigation and green shipping. Existing technologies were based on roles and professionals' experiences. Now it has changed. Artificial intelligence have been integrated to e-navigation system and e-navigation services around the world. The result is that e-navigation service can be applied not only for the shipping industry but for other industries, and bus is one good example for that. Another primary trend is that e-navigation's concept has been proven and it can be actually provided for ships sailing internationally. This is under the trend we need to note. And these trends and challenges can be represented by the wheel of the IMO. We call this the wheel of evolution. The IMO gave birth to the e-navigation definition, and we went through the growth period of the e-navigation service, and all this evolutionary process can be summed up in this wheel. For another growth period, something new is needed. I think that all comes down to a test bed. Procedures need to be in place to make engineering process easier. So I believe personally, I think test bed will provide a good tool. This test bed will be totally and completely different from the traditional definition of a test bed. We have these great pictures at the bottom of the page, and testbed leaves useful graphs, and the graphs are used to enhance engineering elements to globalize e-navigation service and to use a testbed to use this testbed for more enhanced e-navigation service. Korea suggests a new digital testbed. Traditional testbeds were limited to a certain region, but we would like to suggest a testbed that can be applied to across regions, so that technologies from different regions can be tested at one place. This is called Global Maritime Digital Route Testbed, but this is not just an initiative used by Korea and Europe, but GMDRT is open to
Thank you so
everyone.
much. You may
Thank
now
you
return to your
very much
seats.
for listening.
Thank you